Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Green Room Podcast. I'm Matthew Brune, and joining me once again for this Monday morning edition of the podcast is Colin Mitchell.
It
Colin,
is 12:47 p.m.
yeah, but it's morning for you.
No, I've been up since 9.
Wow, that is an early morning. That is an early morning. There's one thing I learned talking on LSU podcast. It's to not talk about my personal life. So I remember one time I brought up jokingly that 9 a.m. was early, and all the comments just like 9 a.m. early. Like, what? What are you
You
talking about?
ungrateful boy.
Dude, I remember I have to wake up at 5 a.m. every day for this, and I'm like, "I'm so sorry. I will never joke."
I will never joke again. But see, to be
Literally,
fair,
and then
you work until like midnight.
I
You know
mean,
what I
yeah,
mean?
I
Like,
work. Like, yeah, that's our whole
yeah, see,
thing, and that's the
that's the
whole point of
difference.
this. That's the whole point of this job is that like you're not working,
You don't
7
work
to
you don't work
4.
hours.
Yeah,
You just work the day, you know?
vibes,
Yeah.
straight vibes of what it
Vibes.
was.
All right.
But yeah,
Anyways,
that's that was how that went. So I learned real quickly what to and to not talk about. Like I can't talk on this podcast how I talk on LSU podcasts. It's just different. But we did last time we did a basketball podcast, Colin, was January 19th. Borderline inexcusable how long it's been, Colin.
yeah, but it's all right.
However, we joked on the last podcast, we were getting messages, multiple messages on Twitter. That's when we know it's serious. When it's not just one person, when it's multiple
Yeah.
people asking us, it's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, basketball podcast, basketball podcast." Well, we're back. We're back. 4 games have happened since we last did a podcast. We did a football podcast on signing day. You can check that out. I think that was really, really good stuff there. For basketball podcast, though, we have missed 4 games. They have won all 4 games since that loss to Rice. They are now 10-3 in conference. Um, they beat UAB on the road without Jordan Walker. Still a good win, in my opinion. Won by 11. Beat UTSA by 4 at home. Not a good win at all, in my opinion. Basically a loss, according to Ken Palm net ratings and everything.
They went down 10 spots that
Yeah,
day.
not good. Bounce back, beat UTEP 52-42 in a hideous basketball game, but hey, 10-point win at home, you take it. And then they beat Rice on the road, bounce back win, a revenge game of sorts.
Mhm.
NBA had their like rivalry week a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you remember that, but they need like a revenge week in Conference USA where like they just schedule all the teams that beat the good teams
What
and
if a
just let
team
them
goes
fight.
like undefeated?
Like
Well,
FAU,
I guess the other team would then.
like
Yeah.
FAU lost to UAB. They need to have immediately just have a revenge week where FAU plays UAB, North Texas plays Rice, so on and so forth. Anyways, those are the 4 wins. They're 10-3 now in conference. Let's talk big picture first before we get. I mean, I don't know how granular you want to get, but I think big picture wise, where do you want to start with this team?
I was
Are
not
you
expecting.
apologizing,
I was
Colin,
not expect for what?
for our Rice rant?
No, I wasn't expecting to go big picture first. Can we go game first?
Okay, which game do you want to talk about?
I think Rice, just because it's the most recent one. I mean, I guess we could talk about the ugliness of the UTSA and UTEP game. Um, but I think after our quote unquote first Rice rant, the hashtag Rice rant,
Hashtag Rice rant.
what were you looking for? We were looking for more from Kai. We were looking for something motion, anything different. And we were also looking for Ruben to kind of do something.
Yeah.
In those 4 games, I think I would be like if the satisfaction level on those things happening was a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it like a 6. And I think that's where what I want to talk about from these 4 games, not necessarily game by game, but it was nice to see anything. And I think that UAB game, I can't remember if it was UAB or UTSA, there was like moments where they'd run or they'd do something and it'd be like, oh, we
Yeah, I
haven't
think that
seen
was
that
UAB.
before. It was UAB. And so it was nice to see. And obviously they're still going to play slow. I mean, 52, 59, 42, 64.
Yeah.
We understand that. But it was nice to see something mixed up. I mean, what was your satisfaction level?
I mean, on the 4 games,
Yeah.
on like adjustment wise, like I feel
Yeah.
like
Well, not necessarily adjustment, I guess. Adjustment, yes, but also doing what they like to do better as well, right? Like if you're going to play that way and the Rice loss, as we talked about, was inexcusable, if you're going to play that way, you have to play that way well. And I feel like that was also a factor in these last 4 games, is that they played the way they normally play and they did it well. And by well, I mean they won the games. So
Here's a big change. Just going through it. The 2-point percentage, something we've talked about all year.
yep,
It's
yep,
been awful. They've been like
yep,
bottom 100 in the country, bottom 50 in the country. Against UAB, they shot 48.5% from 2. Against UTSA, they shot 53% from 2. Against UTEP, in a game where no one could score, they shot 52% from 2. And against Rice, they shot 58% from 2.
yep.
So that is the biggest difference that I saw. I think from 3, they shot fine. Like if you went game by game, they were like, okay, cool, cool, cool. But it did feel a little bit more diverse offensively. We did see a little bit more Kai. Ruben in the first 3 of these last 4 games wasn't great at all. I think it was like 5 points, 2 points, 0 points. And then against Rice, he kind of broke out a bit, had what he ended with 13 points overall, which is great to see. That's where we want Ruben. Typically, we'd love him in the 8 point per game range. That would be awesome. So they didn't have to make the lineup change that we mentioned. I think Kai, I still have my overall questions about him, but he got to the line 9 times against Rice. That would be a huge development in this team, is getting to the line with Kai Huntsberry, because that is something that, Javion was able to do, Thomas Bell was able to do. Like those teams in the past were able to get to the line a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of my biggest questions, because still at this moment, they're 8th in the conference in free throw attempt rate. And they are the lowest, they're the worst defense in the conference in allowing free throws. They allow the most free throws. So that is a concerning area at this moment, is like they need to get to the free throw line more offensively. And I think if Kai can be one of those, people that ignites the offense by getting to the free throw line, I think that would be a huge development for the team. I mean, they shot 26 free throws against Rice, and Rice is not a good defensive team. So again, we said this on the last podcast. I don't want to compare this team to Rice. Like they should be beating Rice 10 out of 10
Right.
times. But they didn't, and they bounced back, and I think they had a good game against Rice on Saturday.
I was also going to bring up Kai, and this could just be because I'm looking at it a lot more, I guess. They seem to be posting him up more and utilizing that in my eyes. I don't know if that's something you've noticed, where I mean, they post him up before, but I feel like he's doing something out of the post instead of just, getting to the free throw line or getting into the block and then just kicking it out. I feel like he's actually, whether it's a turnaround jumper, and obviously those haven't been looking that great, but he's doing something, and I think that's contributing to that free throw percentage.
They are using him. It feels like they're using him in a more aggressive way.
It feels
Right?
Javion-esque is where I
And
was
that's what
trying to
we
get.
wanted coming into the
Right.
season.
And it's not for the, like, he's not going to do the floater, turn on floater, whatever, but it feels like it's not just, all right, let's just get a guy down there and then kick it out.
Yeah.
It feels something else is happening from that. So that is something I noticed. I did also want to bring up Abu these last 4 games. Against Rice, he shot 33% from the field, 3 of 9. Since then, UAB was 6 of 11. UTSA was 6 of 9. UTEP, he was over.
He had foul trouble. It was a weird game.
Yeah, no, I did not watch that game. And then he was 7 for 13 last night after starting not great. I believe we talked, it was like he was 4 of 10 to start or something like that. So
and then he made the last 3.
Yeah, he made his last 3. So that is obviously also helpful. However, I want to see it against, obviously UAB was a good one, but I want to see it against UAB again. I want to see it against La Tech. I want to see it against a Charlotte team who I guess hasn't been that great recently, but again, they're a tough team and they play slow. So I want to see it against that. I don't think we can pair it against a Rice team that's not good defensively, like you said. So I want to continue seeing more of that, but I like where Abu's trending.
Yeah. No, you're right.
What do you think?
No, you're right. And the 3, if we just take the UTEP game out, which was, I don't know if we should take it out, but
I mean, it doesn't count. It doesn't. There's no field goal percentage on Basketball Reference. So
no, yeah, he went 0 for 0. Like he
Yeah.
didn't, but he played 12 minutes, had 4 fouls. I mean, it was a weird game. Regardless, that whole game, just in general, I just want to throw it in the trash. It was not pretty. 52
Right.
to 42. So if we just look at these other 3 games, like you said, 6 of 11, 6 of 9, 7 of 13. Still, okay, here's a big picture-ish question here. We can transition a bit. Do you trust Abu and Kai right now? Like on a scale of 1 to 10.
If I had to pick one to trust more, it'd be Kai, and that's a weird thing to say.
That's weird.
It is weird, but I can't. Abu misses buckets that could put the game not away, but it makes it to where it's not a 4-point game, it's an 8-point game. You know what I mean? Like when he goes back to back and he misses 2 bunnies
Yeah.
or 2 easy turnaround hooks.
Hook shots.
So it's like that's what bothers me about Abu. Like, why are we giving Abu, like in certain situations, why is Abu shooting 13 times when Tyler Perry, I think last game, I don't have the stats up for that last game, unfortunately. He didn't shoot
Tyler didn't
13
shoot.
shots. So that was my big thing. And I was going to ask you that, I guess, as well as a big picture question. How much do we put stock in Abu or Kai shooting more than a guy like Tyler? And obviously Tyler's going to get his. But if I had to trust a guy, I think it'd be Kai, just because I'm trying to think of the word, because I don't think dynamic is a word, but I think more can happen when he has the ball in his hands as opposed to Abu. Because if Abu has the ball, we've talked about this a lot. He's not the playmaker Zach was. He's not going to be uberly efficient from the paint, but he can rebound. And I think Kai gives you the paint aspect if they're going to post him up like they have been, but he also has the chance to hit a big shot, a 3-pointer, and he also, he can play make more. So I guess that's why I would trust Kai more. What do you think?
I think Kai has been better in conference play. He's been more consistent. I mean, if we just look at his stats, I mean, even from the 3-point line, I don't have the splits up as far as
I'll get the splits up real quick while you talk.
conference, non-conference. I think North Texas has that up on their site. But he shot 2 of 4 the last 2 games from 3. He shot 3 of 6 against UAB. Like, I am critical of the mechanics of his jump shot. I've texted you about this. Like, I just don't think it is a fluid jump shot. There are times where he is more fluid than others. Sometimes he shoots on his way down. Sometimes it's like a shot put at times. Sometimes he's fading. It's weird. But still, he is going to have moments because, like you said, teams are attacking Tyler. They're not letting Tyler shoot. But also, there are a lot of moments where I think Tyler should be more aggressive, and he's not. And I tweeted this, I think, on the UTSA game. I was like, I want Tyler to shoot the ball 10 times per game from 3, like alone. I want him to take 10 threes a game, and he's not. He's not even coming close to that. He's shooting the ball at a percentage-wise less than Kai, less than Abu, like by 2%. Like Abu is 182nd in the country in terms of his shot percentage when on the court, according to Ken Palm. Kai is 209th in the country. Then Tyler is 386th in the country. Like, he is just not shooting the ball enough for me right now. And sure, he went 0 of 4 from 3 against Rice, but he went 3 of 3 from 2. Like, he only shot 7 times against Rice, 10 times against UTEP, 11 times against UTSA, 7 times against UAB. Like, it's not enough for me. He is by far and away the best player on this team. And I personally, maybe selfishly, maybe stupidly, I don't know, I want him to shoot the ball more than 7 times in a game.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, because we talk about the shots that separate the game from being a 2.4-point game to being something that is where you're not having to worry about other teams. And just to go back to Kai's 3-point percentage, in conference, he's shooting 36% from 3.
And if he does that, man,
it's perfect. It's fine, right?
great,
Like, we're
yes.
good. But you got to keep that up, and we got to continue seeing that. But to go back to your point about Tyler shooting more, Kai, the last couple games, he shot 13 shots, 10 shots, 7 shots, 14 shots. So again, where can we, if I had to remove shots from somebody, it would be, 2 from Kai, 2 from Abu, give them to Tyler. I want to see Tyler just shoot that thing. So
you want to, because I want to keep this a little bit more positive, but a question I have, Jaden Martinez, I realized this now because I watched the last game against Rice. I didn't even realize this in real time, but played 14 minutes, 0 points against UTEP. Played 1 minute, basically just garbage time. 1 minute against Rice last game. Are they slowly trending towards just playing Sissoko now instead of Martinez? That is a really.
I've never thought of that, actually.
That's a really interesting. Like, we said to play Sissoko instead of Abu, but it seems like they're playing Sissoko instead of Martinez now.
That's interesting. I honestly, I haven't been, I guess, paying attention that much to
No,
that
I
point.
didn't notice it in the
Yeah,
game because we're just watching it like, okay, cool, cool, cool. Like,
yeah,
they're playing well. I see Sissoko on the court for 13 minutes, awesome. But you literally have the 26 Abu minutes, then you have the 13 Sissoko minutes. That's 39 of the 40 minutes in a game.
yeah,
Like, that's all they play now. They don't go to the Martinez and Scott lineup at all. Um, they've even gone small a lot of times. Like, they've played Matthew Stone at times at the 3 or the 4, Ruben Jones. Like, they've gone to more, and I think I suggested this where I wanted more guard play around there.
mhm,
So they've kind of done that, because Tyler and Kai aren't coming off the court. It's kind of just like Tyler and Kai on the court no matter what. Ruben will play 25 to 30 minutes, and then you just kind of rotate everybody else there, at like the 3 and the 4 spots, I'm saying.
right,
So it's like Edie, Stone, Scott are rotating the 3 and the 4. And then Sissoko's kind of just been, or I'm sorry, not Sissoko. Martinez has kind of just been phased out a little bit, at least in the past couple games. I'm not going to say permanently, but
right.
that's just something I noticed that I thought was interesting.
That is interesting. I mean, I guess I don't really have an opinion on that because I haven't noticed it until you just brought it up to me.
Yeah.
Uh, so I guess we keep an eye on that, but that is interesting.
Something to keep an
Um,
eye on.
I wanted to look at Tyree Edie's game log to see how he was doing.
Let's see. I can pull it up for
Uh,
you.
Never mind. I thought he was. I just remember the UAB game where he was 3 of 4, and
Yeah,
then
UAB is 3 or 4.
but then he went 2 of
UTSA,
5,
he
1
was
and 2,
2 or
0 of 2.
5, 1 or 2, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
It
Uh, Sorry.
I don't do you have anything else on the specifics here?
No.
Like, I
No.
think moving forward, how much better do you feel now than where we were after the Rice loss?
Like I said, I wouldn't like, and I said this against in the Rice podcast. I don't care if they play this way as long as they're doing it well, and as long as they win games, I don't care. They've won the last 4 games. You said I didn't watch UTEP, but UTSA was ugly. Rice was ugly in parts, but if they win, I don't play the way you got to play to win. And if they're doing it well, then I don't care. And I think at this point, when you do it through 4 games, and I see guys like Kai finally almost get into a quote unquote groove, it makes me feel like it's sustainable instead of, it being like the Abu 37-point game or something like that. This feels more sustainable. So I would say I'm pretty confident in terms of them going forward. I did want to ask you a question, big picture, if you don't have anything else.
Oh, one more thing before we go big picture. We kind of mentioned it, but Kai is shooting the ball better from 3 as a team, and this was not the case in non-conference. I don't have the non-conference splits up. I think they were around 33% or 32% non-conference from 3.
Mm-hmm.
In conference, they're 37.2% from 3. Remember,
Yeah.
remember that whole rant I had a while
Yeah.
ago where I was
I
like,
think you I think you said 36% or
yeah,
35%. Like,
I was like, shots just need to go in, or shots are going in more.
yeah.
And if they shoot at 37%, this will be the same exact team they had last year and the year before, where, like, it's not going to be pretty, but if they can make threes, that's the difference. That is the difference, because this team, no matter what, in the Grant McCasland era, does not let opponents make threes. In conference, teams are shooting 28.6% against them.
Yeah.
Like, last year in conference, teams shot 28.7% against them.
Yeah.
Or that wasn't even in conference. It was 28.2% in conference last year. Like, the 3-point disparity has been the biggest difference for North Texas in the Grant McCasland era. Like, year in, year out, they are very, very high in 3-point percentage, and they are very, very high in the 3-point percentage defense.
Yeah.
2020 is the one I'm looking at now. 2020 is the one exception to that, where they shot 38% from 3, and then they allowed teams to shoot 38% from 3, which is crazy. But still, that 2020 team was also like stacked offensively with Mo and Javion and Zach and Reese, Thomas, Dank. Crazy team. This year, it's going to be a grinded out game. They're just going to have to make shots.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally just what it comes down to for this team, is shooting the ball from 3. And if Kai can shoot well and Tyler can shoot well, and Scott is shooting the ball pretty well. We talk about Matthew Stone, Ruben Jones. Like, they have capable guys. Like, that's just what it's going to come down to in games against good teams and games in the tournament.
Yep. No, I completely agree. Moving to my big picture question. FAU got 93 votes for top 25. They weren't in it, but they're getting shown the respect.
They lost to UAB though. Yes.
They lost to UAB, but that's why they're out of the top 25. St. Mary's is ranked 15th.
Yeah.
North Texas, if they win out, is there still a chance for an at-large bid?
They went out and lose in the conference championship game.
Yeah, and I say this because
so, no.
in the past, Conference USA hasn't gotten respect in the AP poll. Even the Middle Tennessee teams, I believe they finished like 25 or 24, whereas we've already seen FAU at 19, I believe is what they got up to, and they're still getting the respect.
They are.
I personally think it's like a 60-40 shot they do if that happens. No?
I'm sorry.
Okay. I had to ask.
It can't happen. It won't. It won't happen. Like if they blow everybody out from here on out in regular season, I mean, they would end the regular season 26-5 if they won out 7 straight games.
Yep.
26-5, which I don't think they will win out, but in theory, let's say they did 26-5, 17-3 in conference. You win 2 more games, that puts you at 28-5. Like, I think it's good. The problem is the losses to Rice and UNC Wilmington are probably too much to overcome because they don't have the wins.
Yeah.
The wins is what it, and like it or not, like the net rating, it factors in like Q1, Q2, Q3, all those things. They don't have those wins. Like they beat UAB on the road, which will probably be a Q1 win at the end of the day, even though I don't know how UAB is still ranked so highly.
Right.
Like they're clearly dangerous. Like they beat FAU. Like we're not idiots. We know how good they are. We've talked about them at length. They've just lost so many games. But like the UAB win is their only win over a top 100 team in KenPom. That's it.
Fair enough.
That's it. I still, San Jose State is a good win. Grand Canyon's a good win. Even though Grand Canyon's kind of getting beat up in the WAC right now. So it's like, that's it. That's it. So even if they win out and they beat UAB twice, obviously, they win a couple games in the tournament and lose in the championship, I just don't think it's enough. You have to win out. You have to win the tournament at this point. So the end goal to me has not changed since that Rice game. I just, it's nice to see them kind of picking up a bit of steam. But now they have UAB on Thursday at home with Jordan Walker back, even though he didn't play well.
So scary. That's a scary game.
That's the game right there. If you can beat UAB, we'll probably do a podcast after that. If you beat UAB at home, then we can be like, okay, can they catch FAU potentially? Right. That would be my question. I don't think they will because FAU has the tiebreaker.
FAU would have to lose 3 more games, and that's hard to do with how well they've been playing. I mean,
FAU would have to lose 3 games, and North Texas would have to win out.
And FAU plays La Tech, Middle, UTSA, UTEP, Rice, and La Tech again.
Yeah, they're not losing 3 of those games.
They're not losing 3 of those games.
So they're not catching FAU. You're not, in my opinion, you're not getting an at-large bid. You're going to have to win the tournament and get an automatic qualifier. So, but however, I want to say this because I don't know how often I've said this. As North Texas fans, do not take for granted. I said this last year. I said this with John last year on our podcast with the Mingering 24/7. Don't take this for granted. I said that last year. Do not take for granted going 18-2 or whatever they went last year, 16-2 in conference. Mm-hmm. If this team goes 16-4 in conference play, I will not be on here nitpicking. I won't be on here getting upset. Like, if they go 16-4 or better, if they would do win out, it's an incredibly successful year. Like, I know our standards are to make the tournament. Yeah. I know our standards are to win the conference. At the end of the day, if this team goes 16-4, I can't ask for anything more. Like, that is an awesome, awesome year. I mean, the loss to Rice is still going to piss me off every day. Like, I wake up every day and I'm like, damn, I can't believe they lost to Rice. It just pisses me off. But that's how it is as a fan. Like, that's how we watch it. It would have been great to win one of those FAU games. They didn't. Like, there are missed opportunities throughout the year that we're going to look back on and be like, damn, that could have made it a different, like a special year. But if they close out the year the way they are capable of, going, losing only, let's say, one game or two games, then I think we look at this as a very, very successful season, regardless of the outcome.
I agree.
So all right, I mean, let's just do it. Do they beat UAB on Thursday?
Is there a line out?
I'm scared as hell. No, there's not. It's too early.
3 days is too early.
I'm terrified. Yeah, it's way too early.
Man, it's the thing is, they beat
Like I
FAU.
say,
They beat
go ahead.
FAU, and they got Jelly Walker back. And I don't think the issue here is going to be how they're not going to stop Jelly Walker. How do you score enough points? Because they're not holding UAB to with 52 last time.
Yeah.
They're not doing that again with Jelly Walker. It's going to be like you have to score 70, I think, to win the game. Because I think UAB at the very least is getting to 65. Like you have to score more than 60.
Well, it's kind of like what we said about FAU. Like after that first FAU game, we were like, all right, or going into the second one, I should say, we were like, they're not holding them to 50 points.
Yeah, and they didn't.
Like,
They scored 62.
They scored 66.
66, sorry.
That's what we're saying here is like you're not going to do that twice to a good team. Like you can do it once, but if the 2021 team played Purdue again, they're not holding them to however much they held them to. Like it's just you catch people once with your defense the way that this team is set up. It's hard to do it twice, in my opinion, most of the time. So, yeah, I agree. I think they're going to have to score 67, 68 probably to win the game. I think it'll be close. It just feels to me this is going to be a very telling game. It feels like a telling game because I'm kind of expecting them to lose. And that's a weird thing to say for a team of this caliber. Like
right, like a team that you're like, oh yeah, they'll win. Like it's one of the first games in my memory because not even against FAU, I was like they can win this game. It's like a game in my mind where it's like I don't see them winning, and obviously I can see them winning if things go right, but it's very hard for me in my mind to believe like, okay, yeah, Tyler's going to score 20 points, Kai's going to get 15, it's in my mind it doesn't seem possible.
It's so hard because like they're going to be 4-point favorites, right? We saw them. They've beat this team without Jordan Walker. They've beaten good teams throughout this year.
Yeah.
Like that they are very capable. They almost beat FAU twice. They lost to them, but they almost beat them twice. We know how good this team is. The thing is UAB feels like at their peak, and maybe this is us going back 2 years ago to where UAB beat them on the home court twice. It just feels like UAB is a problem when they're at full force.
Well, here's the thing:
we saw UAB at full force beat FAU.
Well, let me ask you a question. FAU, I would say, is overperforming their expectations. Like, obviously, they're a good team. I'm not going to say they're not a good team, but they're overperforming what they have in my eyes, right? Like, and outside looking in, I'm not keeping up with them like everyone else is. That's my eyes. UAB has been underperforming up to this point. They beat FAU. They got Jelly Walker back. We've talked about their talent on end. UAB's peak is on a tier above what I think any team in the conference can be, right? And that includes FAU. Obviously, FAU has the resume up to this point, but I think you give UAB their full strength, and if they're playing cohesively, that's a completely different team. And UAB's off nights most of the time are really good. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying they haven't had bad losses because they have.
Look at their losses, though. Hold on. Look at their losses. Some of these
I'm looking at them right now. So they 81-70 West Virginia. Obviously, I'll go conference though. Yeah, FAU they lose 2 points to FAU 88-86. FIU they lose 3 points 90-87. Western Kentucky they lose 2 points 80-78. Middle Tennessee they lose by 1 74-73. North Texas they lose by 11 points 63-52. By bad losses I mean you're losing to FIU. You're losing to a Western Kentucky team that is.
Look, man, 4 of those losses are by one possession.
Well,
2 of them are in overtime.
Exactly, and that's my point. Is although they had the quote unquote bad losses, they still put up 87. They still put up 78. They still put up 86. Middle Tennessee, you still put up 73. And this is a UAB team that at no point during the season you and I have gone, yeah, they're playing their brand of basketball they want to play. They're playing well because I don't think they have been. And this is when Jelly Walker's back. It's going to be scary.
In North Tech and UAB, I don't want to build UAB up into being like, I don't want to scare people, but like UAB is the type of team that will come in with a chip on their shoulder.
This is circle. This game's circled for them.
This game has been circled for the last 2 weeks,
Yeah.
3 weeks. But I'm saying this. I wanted to read out the losses because they're 8-5 right now. If they had, let's just say I know they didn't, but let's just say they won 1 or 2 of those games. We're looking at them and North Texas potentially having the same record.
Yeah.
Like there is a real possibility of them being 10-3 at this point, and they haven't even played well. They haven't had Jordan Walker. Like that's why I don't know. In my heart, I'm just like, this is a really, really scary game. I didn't feel this way going into FAU. This feels like a scary game for me.
Yeah. No, it does. It feels like it. I think the reason it feels like that way is because against FAU, we knew the game would always be close. UAB, I feel like, has the possibility of winning by 10.
And also, not only from UAB perspective, but from North Tech's perspective, like we talked about, they're shooting 37% from three. They're hitting their stride a little bit, but it feels like, I don't want to say it feels too good to be true, but it feels like players are starting to perform at a very high level on a somewhat consistent basis. Abu, we talked about. Kai, we talked about. Even though Tyler hasn't got a bunch of shots off, we have him, but you're kind of figuring things out a bit. It does set up for a letdown game.
Oh, it does. I mean, this is like a trap game against a team that's not bad, right?
Yeah, it's a trap game, but you're playing again
UAB.
one of the best teams in the conference.
Yeah,
one of the most talented G5 teams in the country, or mid-major teams in the country, like by far. So that's why I said this game, I feel like will show a lot. If they beat UAB, I will come on here and sing the praises of every man on this roster for an hour. I will do it because that would be a huge, huge win moving forward.
What do you think the score is?
The score? What do I think the score is?
Yep. No spread can bias your decision here.
Shit. It's gonna be a close game. It's gonna be like 66-64.
Who?
Ay. I'll take UAB.
Okay. I am gonna go North Texas because it is home.
All right.
And I'm gonna say 67-63.
Okay. All right, there you have it. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. This will be a big game. Like we said, we got on here to sing the praises of North Texas for winning 4 straight games.
This game's on Thursday.
Yeah, what about it?
I can't watch it.
Oh, no.
I'll be at a wedding.
Oh. A wedding, Colin?
I'm driving to Houston on Thursday. We have to do like a rehearsal dinner and then a rehearsal. Is it on ESPN Plus at least where I can rewatch it?
I hope so. Hope it's not on CBS.
If not, my goodness, this is the worst.
No, it's okay. If not, I'll record it on my YouTube TV, and we can get it to you.
Because this is a game I have to watch.
Yes, it is, Colin. But you're not watching it live.
I'm so upset. Yeah, I'm going up Thursday. Wedding's Friday. Driving back Saturday.
Damn. That is a trip.
So stupid.
Well, at least Houston's only like, what, 3.5 hours away?
Yeah, but it's I don't know how far it is. Probably something like that. I just got an oil change for the vehicle today to make sure she's all right. But I got it. This is what I got, Bruni. I got Houston wedding. I got bachelor party 3 weeks from this week, and then the week after that I got a wedding, and then 3 weeks after that I have another bachelor party in Kentucky, and then 2 months after that I have another wedding. All
right. Colin, busy man. Everybody wants Colin at their wedding. If you, the listener, want Colin at your wedding.
Hey, you pay me, I'll go to a wedding. You just make an appearance.
Free food and Colin will be there.
Just like
free food and Colin Mitchell will show up at your wedding.
Yep.
And maybe your bachelor party if you want him to. Who knows? Who knows? Free
Yeah.
food, he'll get there.
Anyways,
Oh,
I have two stories to tell. This is the end
two
of the podcast,
stories?
right? This is the end of the podcast. They're both really
Yes,
quick.
this is the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
Go
Went
ahead.
to first story.
Okay.
I'll just tell them in chronological order. Yesterday I golfed and went to dinner. One story during golf, one story during dinner. So I go to golf, roll up. They pair me with two 60-year-olds, 60 and 64. And they're like, they're going back and forth. Like one guy's clearly jealous of the other guy who has a better job. So the older guy is 64. He has a wife at 16 years younger than him, and he has a good job. The other guy is like bringing all this up. He's playing horribly. He's getting drunk because he's clearly sad about the whole thing. And listen, I'm not playing well. I never claim to be a good golfer,
Of course.
but I'm playing way better than he is. So he's probably shooting like 130 at this point. He's at 130 through 130 strokes through like 15 holes. We're on hole 16, and it's a par 3.
Worse than me.
Yeah. And Bernie's played 2 rounds of golf in his life.
Crazy.
And we roll up to this hole. It's a par 3. I hit it in the sand, get out of the sand trap, but I hit it over the green because I'm stupid and bad at the game. And I have to chip back on. So I'm like, all right, I'll chip back on. I chip and I duff my chip. And for people who don't know what that means, I got too far into the ball, so it went like nowhere. And he laughs. And I was like, what? So I hit it again, putt out. This dude, after he laughs, thinks that he's just going to go up there and hit these putts. He 6 putts.
Oh,
He
my
goes,
God.
and he didn't even finish out the putt. He like turned around. His friend makes a comment. He's like, he's like, I'm never scared when I'm behind the flag because I know if you aim at me, you'll miss. So he turns around and just takes his putter and like 360 swings at the flag. I was like, bro,
That's the guy?
No. Like, so he put the flag back in and he just like turns like I don't even know what it. Just no, it doesn't throw it. Like just swings his putter and just goes. Brrr. And I'm like, dude, are you okay? Like, it's not that serious. He didn't get the ball in the air the whole time. Whole time he didn't get the ball in the air. And then one other time later, I hit a drive, and he drives up to my ball and he goes, "Are you sure that's yours?" I was like, "Yeah, that's me." I was like, "Your ball is like back there," and he goes, "No." And his friend goes, "Yeah, he was trying to feel really good about himself right there." So this dude's just getting like destroyed the whole day.
Holy.
So then, fast forward to that night, we go to dinner. It's a nice place, and it's like a steak place.
Who's we? Not
Norm
you
and
and the
I.
60-year-olds, right?
No. Sorry, yeah, Norm and I go, and they we're at a steak place. We're waiting for our food, and the people next to us get a steak, and I'm sitting there. Norma looks at me and she like looks dead at me and goes like looks right, and she goes, "Do you see that?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" I look over. They got so it's a dark place. They have like this little like ambient light that sits on the table. Yeah. They got this thing reflecting off of a metallic plate on the steak. DSLR camera straight up like this, just like photo shooting this thing. So they're going crazy, right? They're going just like insane with it. And it's 2 younger people and an old guy. The dad just like just can't believe what's happening. And they're like mid-30s and they're just going crazy, like taking these pictures, getting all these angles. Server comes up. I'd do that too if I had a camera. And he's like, "Yeah, this thing was expensive." And he's like, "I love the way your food looks." And it's like so long it gets cold. They eat it. Dessert comes out. They set the plate up.
Do the same thing.
They go crazy and just like, and I'm like, "What are you guys doing right now?"
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it was like not a magazine, but I thought it was like a
food review place, right?
Yeah, food review.
Yeah, no, I thought that too. No, it was just their camera. They just brought it to
They would just take
food.
Wow.
Because I heard the story he was telling them. It's like, "Yeah, I got this camera
as
a gift," and he just went. It was like all the angles too. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. I was like, "This is ridiculous." So if anyone takes pictures of their food like that ever, don't listen to the podcast anymore.
You are banned.
Yeah, you're banned.
You are banned.
Never do that.
Never do that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Good stories. And in like a 5-minute time span. So good job. Good job.
Go quick.
Reasonable. All right. There's story time with Colin.
Yep.
We'll be back after the UAB game probably. Oh, well, whenever Colin gets back to Denton, I guess.
I'm pretty upset that I'm going to be at a wedding.
Yeah, maybe I just do it by myself or something.
No, because I'm gonna have another story from the wedding for sure.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. You're right.
Yeah.
All right. That's all we got for y'all today. Hope y'all enjoyed the episode. Leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever you're listening. Sorry, I'm still sick. I'm still sick, so like my throat I'm trying not to cough if that makes any sense. I'm trying not to cough, so I'm like trying to keep it down. But anyways, leave us 5-star rating review, subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We will talk to y'all later after Colin's wedding and after I get healthy. So we'll see y'all then.
Bruni questionable.
I mean, you're out. So
I mean, I'm
yeah,
out, but it's not with an illness. Like my
it's
injury report
personal.
that says coach's decision, and I'm the
It's like
coach.
no, it's
Yours
like
says like flu, non-COVID illness. Actually, is what it would
non-COVID
say.
illness. No, yours says like personal leave of absence. Like
Yeah.
Kyrie. You're like Kyrie.
Shout out the Mavs.
Shout out the Mavs. All right, we'll see y'all later.